The world awoke this morning to headlines that shook the very foundation of global diplomacy. Macron just declared war on America, and Trump can't stop it. The words themselves seem surreal, like something ripped from the pages of an alternate history novel. But this is no fiction. This is reality, unfolding in real time, with consequences that could change the course of the 21st century. It began in the early hours, when French President Emmanuel Macron addressed a tense gathering in Paris. His voice was sharp, his posture rigid, and the room filled with reporters fell silent as he spoke. For too long, America has undermined our sovereignty, challenged our economy, and acted as though our independence is negotiable, Macron declared. As of today, we will respond with strength, not silence. Behind him, the French tricolor waved not as a mere symbol of unity, but as a battle standard raised for the world to see. The statement wasn't just a political jab, it was a formal rupture. Within minutes, France announced the mobilization of naval forces in the Atlantic, joint military drills with other European nations, and immediate sanctions targeting American industries. The French government accused Washington of economic sabotage and covert interference in European policy, claims that until now had been whispered only behind closed doors. In Washington, the reaction was immediate chaos. Donald Trump, still an influential figure on the political stage despite not holding office, called it the most disgraceful move in modern European history and accused Macron of trying to make himself Napoleon 2.0. Yet for all his bluster, Trump had no official power to respond. The White House, under its current administration, scrambled to convene emergency meetings with NATO allies, though. Macron had already hinted that NATO itself was no longer fit to protect Europe's interests. In small towns across America, the news played out like an echo of history. Veterans sat in diners, staring at the TV in disbelief. Young people flooded social media with fears of another world war. In Paris, the atmosphere was equally tense. Some celebrated Macron's defiance, waving flags and chanting slogans about Europe's destiny. Others worried that this was the first step toward a catastrophic conflict that neither side could afford. Behind the scenes, diplomatic channels buzzed with frantic messages. State Department officials reached out to French envoys, pleading for calm. European leaders from Berlin to Rome were divided, some siding with Macron's boldness, others warning that this was playing with fire. In the streets of Marseille, a fisherman named Pierre spoke to a reporter. "We don't want war. But we also don't want to be treated as if we are America's colony." Macron is saying what many have been thinking for years. Meanwhile, inside the Pentagon, military planners quietly updated contingency scenarios, while no one wanted to admit it on record. The U.S. was preparing for the possibility that the Atlantic could once again become a theater of confrontation. Intelligence reports suggested that French cyber units were already probing American infrastructure, not with malicious strikes, but as a show of capability. And yet, amid the tension, there were glimmers of hope. A group of retired diplomats from both nations issued a joint statement urging leaders to step back from the brink. They reminded the world of the long, intertwined history between America and France, from Lafayette's role in the American Revolution to the sacrifices of World War II. Our past binds us. Let it guide us, the statement read. By nightfall, the global stage had transformed. Macron's gamble had made him a hero to some and a villain to others. In America, the divide deepened, with some calling for a strong military response and others urging de-escalation at all costs. But one truth was undeniable. The world had entered a new, dangerous chapter. If there's a lesson here, it's that history is never as far away as we think. Old alliances can fracture. Words can ignite tensions as easily as bullets. And yet, The same history reminds us that diplomacy, courage, and restraint have the power to pull humanity back from the edge. The coming days will determine whether Macron's bold defiance sparks a devastating conflict or forces both nations to confront the deeper issues that have been quietly eroding their friendship for decades. The choice, as always, lies not just with presidents and generals, but with the people who must live with the consequences. And as the world holds its breath, one question hangs heavy in the air. Will leaders choose pride or peace?